Growing up amid the hyperpop glitz of the Y2K era, I was surrounded by live performance recordings of the Cheeky Girls. Now, nostalgia makes me look at the latest flip phones with admiration. I finally have the adult money to get my own flip phone, and no one can stop me, even if it's probably a terrible idea. I have to keep reminding myself that phones should be functional more than just pretty. Luckily, the flip phone in Don't Stop Girlypop is more symbolic than practical, fitting perfectly with the game's bubblegum-colored space dream aesthetic. When I first watched the trailer, the music already had me sold, but the shiny weapons, Y2K themes, and Blåhaj additions convinced me completely. I just had to see it for myself.
Can there be too much Girlypop?
In Don't Stop Girlypop, you control Imber, one of the fairies fighting for a revolution. It immediately reminded me of the joyful nostalgia of Neopet's fairies bouncing around. I remember playing a few different dress-up or girly games as a kid, and the main criticism back then was that while they looked nice, they rarely offered anything beyond the visuals. A fairy shooter adorned in bright pink graphics would have been dismissed as a poor choice, because real gamers didn't want pink, gem-studded aesthetics or customization. Even today, Don't Stop Girlypop remains a revolutionary game. Late 2024 saw the release of Funny Fintan, a AAA title focused on dress-up and aesthetics, yet it's still widely underrated for a variety of reasons. Don't Stop Girlypop foregrounds pink and glittery elements, but it supports them with concerns that feel even more relevant today. What is the revolution for, and how do we remember those who fight for it? How does resource management progress, considering there are starving children outside, and what must be done to gather supplies? Because the game moves quickly, the world building and story can sometimes get lost, so you learn by listening to reflections triggered in specific rooms, effectively functioning as in-world cutscenes. These are complemented by radio broadcasts and flip phone conversations, weaving the narrative into the gameplay without slowing the pace.
Faulty attachment.
Writer Jane Fiona has been working on Don't Stop Girlypop since her youth, and that kind of long-term passion is a perfect energy source for a game so tightly connected to its aesthetic. Beyond the glitter and fast-paced music, this open design approach also influences the gameplay. Most of the time, this works in the game's favor, but some persistent aspects aren't free from flaws. The game clearly emphasizes movement as its core mechanic. The faster you go, the more powerful your attacks become, your recovery time shortens, and you take less damage thanks to the target's rigidity. One aspect I didn't really enjoy is the sequence of jumping, diving, and sudden movements required to navigate between waves. Don't get me wrong, this mechanic works and has its benefits, but it adds an overly mechanical feel to a game that thrives on chaotic freedom. Some enemies, especially bosses, feel excessively resilient while dealing high damage. While I usually enjoy the challenge, there were fights where I wished there were ways to overcome them beyond hopping between waves. Early in the game, Don't Stop Girlypop gradually gives you better weapons, but at no point did they feel significantly stronger than the starting shotgun. Perhaps the music is so dominant that it drowns out the sound of the weapons, but it's clear that the atmosphere takes priority here over raw firepower.
Boom, boom, boom.
The core of Don't Stop Girlypop is shooting enemies trying to harm the fairies you're protecting. As the game progresses, it manages to bring everything together, and you even tune frequencies to hear events beyond the two-way shooting field. The combat immediately grabbed my attention because it has a rhythmic flow that takes me back to my childhood. It's like a fusion of Dance Dance Revolution beats and classic Unreal Tournament, with constant jumps designed so Fortnite-era kids can keep running. It reminds me, 2 centuries later, that I was never good at fast-paced shooter games. At least my ego in Metal Gear Solid V's stealth missions continues to get repaired. The "You're too slow" sound effect in Don't Stop Girlypop evokes an arcade shooting game where I'd spend all my pocket money trying to get better, complete with oppressive pop music blasting in the background. I haven't felt such an adrenaline rush in years, trying to take down a boss in the most flamboyant way possible. It made me reconsider the toxic Y2K gamer debates about how modern games are too easy. Ah, how sweet it was to feel young and foolish. After playing Don't Stop Girlypop, I feel glamorous, covered in pink glitter, and exhilarated. The controls can sometimes be a bit clunky, and hitting certain enemies can be tricky because the glass indicators aren't always clear. But that only reinforces the idea that there should be a spectacularly shining female fantasy here, not because it's perfect, but because it's fun. Closing thoughts. Don't Stop Girlypop fills a very special niche long ignored, a Doom or Unreal Tournament-style shooter played with pink ribbons and long nails. For anyone who wants to play classic shooters but is tired of bland visuals, there's no better substitute than this Yai 2K-inspired hyper-pop pink space girl fantasy.